Hey everybody, welcome back to the Trick Shift Garage YouTube channel. Today we're going to be changing the transmission fluid on my 2013 F-150, which has the 6R80. Now you can use this guide for the 2009 to 2017 Ford F-150. You can use it also for the 2009 to 2018 Ford Expedition and Lincoln Navigator, and also the 2011-2017 Ford Mustang. All right, so the first step is remove this bolt right here. It's a 19 millimeter. This is your fill plug and also your dipstick, and it's towards the front of the transmission on the passenger side of your vehicle.
If you can't remove this plug, you may need to try to run the engine for about 10 minutes to allow the transmission to warm up. That could make removing it easier if yours is stuck. Just be careful because it's right next to the exhaust and you will burn yourself if you aren't careful or don't have some kind of protective covering on your wrist. I have a link down below for one if you are interested.
All right, now that's the front of the vehicle. This is the rear of the vehicle. Naturally, the transmission pan swoops down or angles down a little bit towards the rear. So you actually want to go towards the rear of the oil pan and have that side drain first. So you want to remove some bolts from there before you remove the bolts in the front. That'll be the easiest way to get this oil out. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts underneath of the this Y arm of the exhaust. First, you won't have any fluid leaking out just by removing those 6, but you want to remove those first, and then I'm going to show you a trick after I do that so that you limit the amount that you spill all over yourself and all over the ground.
Swivel sockets would work perfectly for these 6 bolts to help maneuver around the Y arm of the exhaust. These are also linked down below.
Now before you go anywhere else, I'm going to show you a little trick to prevent the amount of transmission fluid you spill all over the ground, and that's to use aluminum foil. And what you're going to do is you're going to tuck the aluminum foil through here underneath the back of the transmission pan. That way anything that falls out, it'll hit the aluminum foil right into your drain pan. And I'll show you that right now.
Again, make sure you are curling the foil up around the back to ensure the fluid won't miss it and cause a huge mess.
Yeah, so the goal is when this pan drops, the fluid will hit the aluminum foil right into your oil pan. So you gotta curve the edges a little bit, kind of guide it right into the pan, just like that.
Now you can start removing the bolts along the sides of the pan like I am doing here. Don't remove the 4 or 5 bolts that hold the pan towards the front of your vehicle just yet. Eventually you will start to see the fluid leaking out as the pan dips in the back a little. Once you remove some more bolts, the old fluid will start pouring out, just like that. You can imagine the mess I would have had if I didn't put that aluminum foil back there, right? Make sure your pan is perfectly centered under the stream and you will catch everything. The trick to getting the pan out is to drop it straight down and then shift it towards the front of the vehicle. That should leave you enough room to get it out. So go ahead and remove the last 4 or 5 bolts and then give it a shot. Oh, and keep your drain pan underneath because there will still be some fluid left in the transmission pan as you are removing it.
Got the GoPro.
The aluminum foil is coming with it. Oh, that gasket's worth. Oh yeah, look at that. It was almost empty. There is the magnet. I'm putting a new pan on, so I'm gonna have to clean this up and put on the new one. But either way, you want to clean this up. As you can tell, there's some like metal shavings in there.
Oh,
like
yeah.
very, very small. Luckily, there's nothing like really, really big. So that's a good sign.
Good sign.
Now, if you're reusing yours, I'm not, but if you are reusing yours, you want to clean this all up, especially around the edges where the new gasket's going to go. That we have a flush seal.
These blue paper towels are great at absorbing oils and other fluids. I mean, look how clean that pan is now. That's perfect.
All right, next, you actually want to clean around where the gasket goes. Now, you don't want to just spray brake clean all over this. You don't want to mess up anything in the transmission. So spray the brake clean on your towel and just wipe around. All right, now you want to clean the hole where your filter goes up to. That way your filter can stick to something that's not too oily. So you just put your finger around the towel and just kind of wipe around it a little bit, just like that. And now your filter should hold when you put it in there. Just like that.
Now put the gasket on the pan and insert the 2 bolts through both. This will help keep the gasket in place as you begin tightening the 2 bolts like I am doing right here. If you have another person, have them hold the pan in place to make it even easier. Make sure you screw in every bolt and make them finger tight before grabbing your torque wrench.
Now you want to tighten all these bolts to 106 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds, inch-pounds. Like that.
When it comes to filling a transmission without a dipstick, things can be challenging to say the least. I found a much better way to fill the transmission in my 2013 F-150, and I'm going to briefly go over how I did it. As you can see, there is a small funnel with a clear tube traveling through the engine bay. Just make sure the tube is not touching the exhaust when it's running. More on that in a bit. You can see how the clear tube maneuvers around the transmission cooler lines, and then how it looks heading up into the engine bay. Again, the main goal is to prevent it from touching the exhaust. Now, this tube is about 4 feet of 3/8 inch inner diameter and a 1/2 inch outer diameter. This is from a 10-foot roll that cost me about $10 and can be used for multiple jobs. I'll explain how later. Once you have it set up like this, go ahead and remove the fill plug and the small dipstick inside. Then you can push the tube right into the fill hole. As you can see, you can easily grab the funnel and start filling. Now with the engine off, fill the transmission until it's full. When I filled mine, it took just under 6 quarts if I remember correctly. Then you need to start your engine and let it run until the transmission gauge shows the fluid is warm. It will take a little while, which is why you need to make sure the clear tube is not touching the exhaust. While it's warming up, go ahead and shift the transmission through the gears while keeping your foot firmly pressed on the brake pedal. You do not want the truck to move. You are just trying to get the fluid to move through each gear. Just do that a few times until you are ready to continue filling. Now, most people have been able to add another quart of fluid, and some have been able to add a little bit more. I added a quart of Lucas transmission additive and then topped it off a little bit more with Mercon LV. That completely filled my transmission. If you follow this process, you should have exactly the amount you need in your transmission.
So I wipe it off.
Yep. And now we check it without burning ourselves.
That's the trick.
Put it back in all the way. I'll take it out. Oh my god, that is perfect.
Is it?
Right there on the A.
Show it to me.
Right there on the A.
All right.
That is perfect.
Then all you need to do is tighten the fill plug before shutting the engine off. Do not over tighten this plug. Since your transmission is hot, it could weld itself to the pin once it cools down. I recommend you barely tighten it down, let it cool off, and then tighten a little bit more if you need to. I typed all of this out so you can screenshot it if you wanted to. Once your transmission is filled, all you need to do is pull the clear tube straight out. Pretty simple. Oh, and one more thing. That catalytic converter will get scorching hot. If you want to prevent burning your arm while tightening down the plug, I found these grill gloves that extend past the wrist and will protect you. I found them very helpful, so I figured I would at least mention it. That's all there is to it. If you found any part of this video helpful or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button as well as the notification bell so you don't miss a video from our channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.